Hey there, and welcome. Whether you're a pro in the kitchen or just starting out, it really is the heart of the home, right? So, in this explainer, we're going to get you comfortable with all the essential English words for everything you find in there. Ready? Let's jump in. So, just for a second, think about your own kitchen. I bet you use a ton of these tools every single day without even thinking twice about their names. Well, today, that's going to change. We're going to give you the vocabulary you need so you can talk about your kitchen with confidence. Every great meal has to start with some prep work. So first up, let's meet what I like to call the preparation crew. These are the tools you're going to use before you even turn on the stove. First on the team is the good old peeler. It has this special little blade that's just perfect for taking off that thin outer skin from things like potatoes or carrots or even apples. And the word for that action? It's a verb, to peel. So it's pretty simple, right? You use a peeler to peel a potato. Super handy. All right, next up, tongs. Seriously, just think of these as super safe robot hands. They're perfect for grabbing and lifting hot stuff. You might use tongs to flip some chicken in a hot pan, or maybe to pull some pasta out of boiling water. Way better than using your fingers. Okay, so our ingredients are all prepped and ready to go. Now it's time to turn up the heat. Let's head over to the stove and meet the real stars of the show, the cooking team. So this is basically a little story of making dinner. Let's walk through it. Imagine you're starting off by cooking some veggies in a flat frying pan, or maybe you're warming up some sauce in a deeper saucepan. While that's happening, you might put the kettle on to boil some water for a cup of tea. Now, if you're making something big, like a soup or a bunch of pasta, you'll need a large pot. And then, when everything's ready to serve, how do you get that soup out? You grab a ladle. That's that big, deep spoon for scooping it right out of the pot. See how they all have a job to do? Oh yeah, you can smell that, can't you? The food is cooked. All that hard work is paying off, and now we get to the best part, getting everything on the table and ready to eat. So first, you need the foundation for any meal, and that's the plate. It's that flat dish where your main course goes. Your steak and potatoes, or a big slice of lasagna. It's the go-to for serving almost anything. But what about stuff that would just roll right off a plate, like soup or your breakfast cereal? Well, for that, you need a bowl. The big difference here is that it's deep. A bowl is designed to hold all the stuff a plate just can't handle. Okay, now let's say you've got friends over. You're not going to make a dozen trips from the kitchen to the dining table, right? Of course not. That's where a tray is a lifesaver. It's just a flat board, usually with handles, that lets you carry a bunch of plates or drinks all in one go. Super useful. All right, the food is served. Now you actually need some tools to eat it with. And this is the classic trio, right? You've got the fork, which you use to pick up solid food. You've got the knife for cutting things into bite-sized pieces. And then the spoon, perfect for liquids like soup or for scooping up little things like peas. Fork, knife, spoon, you can't eat without them. A good meal needs a good drink to go with it, don't you think? So for our last little section here, let's talk about what we actually drink out of. First, we have the cup. This is your classic go-to for a hot drink, like a nice cup of tea. And what's the most important feature? That little handle on the side, right? It's there so you don't burn your hands. And what about a mug? Well, a mug is basically a cup's bigger, tougher cousin. It's usually thicker, it holds a lot more, and it's just perfect for a giant coffee or a big hot chocolate. And just like a cup, it's got that all-important handle. Okay, so we've covered hot drinks. What about cold ones? For things like water, juice, or milk, we usually use a glass. And the two big clues here are, 1, it's made of glass, and 2, it almost never has a handle. So, let's do a quick recap to make it super clear. Cups and mugs, they're for hot drinks. They have handles, and they're usually made of something like ceramic. A glass, that's for cold drinks. No handle, and it's made of, well, glass. If you remember that simple difference, you'll get it right every single time. And that's it. From the peeler all the way to the glass, you now know the essential vocabulary to find your way around any kitchen in English. Think of it this way. You are the chef, not just in your kitchen, but of your own language learning too. So I'll leave you with this one last question. Now that you know all these words, the frying pan, the ladle, the knife, the bowl, what's the first delicious meal you're going to make or maybe just describe? Happy cooking, everyone, and thanks so much for joining me.